Welcome back to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today I'm doing a special tribute segment to Tom Bower, who recently passed away. Of course, Tom played Mary Ellen's first husband, Curt Willard, for many seasons until sadly his character was killed off, supposedly at Pearl Harbor. So thank you for joining me for this special segment for Tom. Of course, Tom first appeared in the episode The Wing Walker, where he was the pilot of the airplane that the Wing Walker was performing on. And so that was the first time we had Tom on the show, and he was playing a different character. Then, of course, he returned in the episode The Wedding, when he was introduced as Dr. Curt Willard and first came to Walton's Mountain, where he ruffled everyone's feathers, from Mary Ellen, despite the immediate chemistry between the two, to the Baldwin sisters, who Mary Ellen had to instruct Curt about how the Baldwin sisters were to be dealt with when they needed to see a doctor. And then, of course, his less than kind bedside manner with Mrs. Brimmer, something that he wouldn't get away with these days, and just the fun bickering back and forth between Curt and Mary Ellen as she in particular tried to deny the chemistry that was there and tried to talk herself into the relationship with David Spencer, who she was engaged to at that point. Of course, we know how this all ended. I mean, he insulted Mary Ellen along the way, said a moron would have set up that filing system, and said that she was a robust girl and she wasn't going to fit into that wedding dress. So he was just never one to pull punches or to worry about being politically correct or anything else. But he created such an endearing character, and I think the majority of you really pulled for Mary Ellen and Curt when they got married and could see the chemistry between the two and why that was a good match for the two of them. So when Tom and I were first going to be filming The Wedding, I do remember that episode, the first scenes I remember filming in that two-part episode were when we went up to Fraser Park to shoot all of the wedding sequence. So I joke about how it was literally, "Hi, nice to meet you again. Let's go get married." And so we did. Tom was always such a joy to work with. He was a kind man, had a sense of humor, was very professional, and we just always got along great. And it was easy to create those scenes with him. And for us to find that relationship with those two characters. Of course, then he became a recurring character on the series and, was around the house and was part of the community. So he had multiple episodes, and then we found out that they were expecting. So the next season with Curt and Mary Ellen dealt with the birth of John Curtis, who, of course, was named after Mary Ellen's father, John, and his own father, Curt. So John Curtis was born and became part of our family. And then, of course, there was the back and forth in that episode about Curt wanting Mary Ellen to be born at the hospital, where he felt they could deliver better care should something happen, and Mary Ellen's insistence that she was going to deliver that baby at home, and Curt was going to deliver John Curtis. And of course, like many cases, Mary Ellen got her way, and Curt did deliver John Curtis. So that was a really sweet, another two-part episode. And then we continued on. The war started, and before we knew it, Curt felt that it was his duty to go and sign up to go be a doctor for the Army. And Mary Ellen was none too happy about that, especially when he started having to be away with his soldiers and whatnot. And so that caused some difficulties between the couple as a newly married couple, or fairly newly married, and then to have those separations. And they each dealt with their own temptations, but they were very committed to each other. So ultimately, they did not stray, but stuck together as couples did for the most part during those times. So all seemed to be well, and then Curt was going to get transferred to Pearl Harbor, and Marilyn, Curt, and John Curtis were going to go join him there. So that was a very exciting time, thinking that they were going to be off to Hawaii and the beaches and the ocean and everything. And although Mary Ellen was going to miss her family, she was excited to go and be there with Curt. And then, of course, the dreadful episode, Day of Infamy, where we discover that Pearl Harbor has been attacked and ultimately find out that Curt has been killed at Pearl Harbor. And Daddy reads that heartbreaking letter where Curt shares his feelings about the family and his son and just his legacy to his son. And so that was the end of Tom's time on the Waltons. And I guess in a way here we have come full circle, because now I'm here talking to you because Tom has now passed away in real life. I had the pleasure of having a chat with him, a Zoom chat, some time back, where we talked about his time on the Waltons, and he shared what happened about being killed off at Pearl Harbor, why he didn't come back to do the episode when Curt theoretically, we found out he was still alive. So I'm going to give you the link here so that if you would like to look back and once more review that lovely chat that I had with Tom and hear in his own words what the show meant to him. In real life, I continued to see Tom and his wife Ursula over the years at various different Walton gatherings, or sometimes I remember a Thanksgiving we shared at Eric Scott's house, where Tom and his wife were also there. I remember being at the Walton Museum for an event that Tom came out for. And so different things like that, where I'd have a chance to reconnect with him, or at our 40th reunion in LA. So times like that, it was always a pleasure. We always enjoyed being able to see each other again, and the sense that we shared that having been married on TV was always sort of a special little bond that I felt with Tom. So it was always fun to get to see him again. So he will be missed by all of the fans, by all of our cast who grew to be very close to him, and by the greater acting community in general, as someone who just had such a large body of work. He never stopped working right up until the end. So, Tom, you will be missed. Thank you for joining me for this special tribute to actor Tom Bauer. I will be back with more behind the scenes of the Waltons. Thanks for watching.